What would you do if a monster stood between your people and their survival? If every day your city had to choose one innocent soul to be sent outside the walls and never return? And what if, one day, the name chosen was the king's daughter? This is the legend of a saint, a warrior, a man of faith, who rode toward the beast everyone else feared. This is the story of Saint George, the saint who fought a dragon.
Long ago, in a land ruled by fear, there was a city called Saintly, and just beyond its walls lived something unspeakable, a dragon. Its breath poisoned the air, its presence emptied the streets, and its hunger controlled the people. At first, they fed it animals, but when that was no longer enough, it demanded human lives. And into this fear rode a soldier, a man of war, but also a man of faith. George. He had seen battle before, but nothing like this, because this was not just a fight for survival. This was a fight between fear and belief. And like every human, he felt it too, fear. But he did not turn back. Then came the day that shattered the city. The chosen victim was the princess. The king begged, offered gold, land, anything, but the people refused. Their children had already been taken. So she walked, alone, beyond the gates, dressed not for life, but for death. The ground began to shake. The water trembled. A low, terrifying sound rose from the lake. Then it appeared, massive, dark, breathing death into the air. The dragon had come. And then George rode forward. The princess cried out, "Run! Save yourself!" But he did not move. He raised his weapon and made the sign of the cross. Silence. Then the dragon attacked. A violent crash. Dust filled the air. The beast roared, its claws tearing the earth apart. But George stood his ground, not because he had no fear, but because he refused to let fear win. With one powerful strike, he drove his spear into the beast. The dragon fell. But what happened next, no one expected. George did not kill it immediately. Instead, he told the princess, "Take your belt and place it around its neck." And when she did, the dragon followed her like a defeated beast. The dragon fell. They returned to the city. The gates opened. The people trembled. And there stood George, not just as a warrior, but as a man who had faced the impossible. The dragon was defeated. The people were free, and fear lost its power. Because the dragon was never just a creature. It was fear. It was evil. It was the darkness that demands sacrifice. And George represents something powerful. The moment a human being decides, "I will not run." Today, dragons still exist, not with wings, but in our minds, our struggles, our fears. And like George, we all face a choice, to run or to stand. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of courage to defeat the thing that once controlled your life. This is Saintly Chronicles, where faith, history, and legend come alive. Subscribe for more powerful stories that will change the way you see the world.